What is up, my guys and girls? Welcome back to the channel. Today we have yet another video on a different set of seats that we're going to be putting here on the Mazda B2000. If you've been a fan of the channel for a while, you might have seen me go through a couple iterations of seats. We went from the bench to a set of OEM style bucket seats, then we switched over to the energy ones, which the energy ones look great. I love how they look, the red with the sparkle back and everything, but they are not comfortable, guys. If you had bucket seats, or if you're thinking about getting bucket seats, just know that they are not comfortable to get in and out of them or to daily drive a car. They're really more for a kind of racetrack and everything like that, or if you just want to be having cool points and you're young enough to where like it doesn't bother you, go ahead. But for me and my wife, it was getting annoying getting in and out of the car, especially when I had my splitter here. Which right now is off, obviously, because I'm doing the other work. But yeah, it made this be a little bit longer, so you kind of had to like jump on it, and then with the high bolster on the sides, then you had to like jump in the seat. It was very annoying, so I didn't want that. It also, with the whole switch now to the black and red and everything here, the red was fine, but it just didn't feel like it matched the style as much, right? So today we have another set of seats that we're going to install in here. Because I'm going to a reclinable style, which is not super high bolster, and it's going to be a lot more comfortable for me and my wife, we are going to have to use another set of adapters, because the ones I had before were especially for bucket seats, so they were more of the side mounted, and we need some bottom mounted on there. All right, guys, and here on the table is the new set of brackets that we're going to be using. Now, quickly, I just want to touch on this one. This were the OEM rails, basically, from a set of OEM bucket seats, and the bucket seats were trash, so I took the rails. This is what I was using before with the NRG seats. When you had the side mounted brackets on top of this ones, everything worked fine, and you could attach it there, no problem at all. But since we are going to a bottom mounted seat, these ones do not work. Plus, you can tell they already look kind of really old and rusty and everything, so they definitely had their life, but it's kind of past that now. And since we're adding some new seats and everything, we want to keep it just looking a little bit nicer, which is why we got the Road Fab seat brackets here. These are very nice pieces. They are pretty heavy. It comes in a very small box, but it is surprisingly heavy. Thick metal pieces here. Comes with the hardware, so you can attach the back piece, and you have a couple options to attach that if you want. Depending on where your seat is going to go or where you're going to drill for your seat, you might have to use kind of the front ones or the back ones. It'll be up to you. Now, they are unpainted, obviously, so we want to make sure we paint these ones once we're done figuring out how we're going to attach the seat and drilling holes and everything. We're going to hit them with a coat of paint so that they don't start rusting or anything like that. The video is not being sponsored by anything like that. We're just going to give you a shout out to Road Fab. He makes some good pieces for the Mazda B series, so I'll leave links down in the bottom if you guys want to go and pick up a set of this ones. No promo code, guys. Like I said, it's not sponsored, but definitely some good pieces. So here are the seats that we're going to be installing on the truck today. I got rid of the all red seat, and we're switching over to this black and red, a little bit more subtle. It's not as in your face as the NRG seats, but I still think they're going to look great. It has the red accents on it, which is going to match the rest of the interior here on the truck, which we have like the door panels and everything with the red accents. I'm very happy with this. Since I didn't like the NRG seats anymore, I always liked these seats and I always wanted to get a set of them, but I just didn't have a chance to come across a good deal. Luckily, once I saw my NRG ones, I was able to pick up the seats, the brackets, and still have a little bit of cash left over, which is always great because that cash got put over to the K24 swap back there. So these are bottom mounted, like I said. They are reclinable. They are a little bit dirty right now, so we definitely need to rent that tool and hit them with that wet, dry vacuum. Make sure we get them all nice and clean and revived, kind of like we did on Brian's D21 seats. And we're gonna do that a little bit later. But first, we're gonna start working on getting this kind of mounted and prep as best as we can. We have to remove the front two little things here. This kind of mounting points that are for the FRS, we are not gonna need them. The rest of the bottom here is flat, which is awesome, and it's gonna match the flatness of this. So we are keeping the rail or the sliders from the FRS. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. They're a lot newer, especially compared to this one, so they should work a lot better. Now, these seats do have buckles built into the seat. If I could find the belts that go into that, maybe I'll keep them there. Just an idea I have also. Maybe keep them there, maybe make them work with the light inside of the car, that the seatbelt light. That would be awesome. But do not hold your breath on that for this video. If I manage to get it to work and manage to do something with that, I'll definitely post something different on those. But yeah, Let me know in the comments, guys, what do you guys think about the seats? I think they look awesome. I also really like the brand new ones. Like, there was actually a set for sale here locally of 2024 FRS seats or BRC seats, one of those. They look awesome. They're very similar, but they have some different stitching, some lines in the middle and everything. They look great, and I would have loved to pick them up, but they were not cheap. They were like $800 or $900 or $1,000. Somewhere in that range is what I've seen them. The guys that were here locally were kind of giving me the runaround, so I couldn't get a good pricing from them, honestly, and I just didn't want to waste my time. So the first things first is we're gonna go ahead and remove the two tabs here on the front, and honestly, the easiest way is gonna be by removing the actual rails. If you are doing this too, by any chance, the way you're gonna remove this is you have 3 bolts. They're gonna be 12 millimeters. There's one right here on the top. There's 2 about this area right here. They're gonna have to get creative here on the inside of it. They're 12 millimeters. Once you take them out, you should be pretty much good to go. The only other thing you have to concern about is the release cable for the back. It's right here. It's just in there with pressure, so just push it out and then you should be able to take this out. Now, after looking at this rail a little bit closely, I'm gonna leave the back tabs the way they are. So this little tabs there, we are actually gonna use that as the mounting point for that area, but we have to remove this too, and they have to be drilled out because it looks like they're kind of welded in there or pressed somehow. There doesn't seem the way for you to take it off. I'm pretty sure they're welded. So we are gonna have to drill those out of there, and obviously with this on the floor, it's gonna be the easiest way to do it. So let me get my drill and let's get to work. So here are the 2 front pieces that we're gonna remove from the brackets. You can see there's a perfect hole in there. That didn't make that. I just drilled the piece that was holding it in place, and then this came off and got loose. They are very hard metal. So I would say if you are trying to drill that with some titanium drill bits, you will struggle. You more likely are gonna break them off or round them off. Definitely go and pick up some cobalt ones if you don't have them. These things are not cheap. They are kind of expensive for the little kids, so just be aware of that. But at least we'll have them for any other project that we do. Now here in the car, you can kind of see the rails are mocked up here on the passenger side. The passenger side, I would say, is a lot easier when it comes to removing the rail and all of this stuff. Driver's side is a lot harder, and I'll get into that here in a little bit. But the front and back needs to be about 17.5 inches from what I could measure on the driver's side. So we are trying to mock it up here. I might just put the rails actually back into the passenger seat so I know exactly where they're gonna go, and then just slide the seat as far back as I can so I can drill the front too, then slide it forward and most likely take them off so we can drill the back one. The back one is the one that's hard to get to out of both of them. So yeah, let's continue making some progress here so I can see how it's gonna look before we take everything off and paint it. Now here we are looking at the driver's side, and I want to tell you the driver's side is definitely more difficult. The reason being is we have one more adjustment on it. There's actually an up and down feature here on the seat, so you can kind of raise it or lower it. And yeah, the passenger one doesn't have that, so there is a lot more mechanism in there, and it's gonna make it a little bit harder to remove this rail. Okay guys, here for the driver's side, to take up the rails on the bottom here, the best way to go about it is you wanna lift this all the way up as much as you can. You're gonna see the back ones are visible already. The front one is gonna be a little bit covered with this, so you might have to remove it, you might not have to. You definitely need to undo at least the front little green tab there. Sorry, my autofocus is messing up here, but yeah, remove that one at the very least so you can lift it. Otherwise, to remove this one, it's just a simple Phillips screwdriver or Phillips head here, and then another one here so you can kind of get more access to this one. There's another one back here. You might not need to remove it. I don't remove all of it just to make sure it wasn't on the way, but you probably don't need to do that one. But yeah, also make sure you use the close end of the wrench. This little nuts here like to strip or spin really easily. So make sure you're kind of doing it this way. Trust me, this front one was already starting to give me a problem. But unless you do it all the way to the top, you might not be able to get kind of the close end of the wrench here. So make sure you do that. So we got loose all of this ones. We're gonna flip the seat and do the other side. Here on the other side of the same driver's seat, another thing that's a little bit different here, there are actually 4 bolts on this one. So you're gonna have one here another one right behind here, which again, you can just kind of put your wrench around there. And then there's going to be two more. One you can kind of see right here, and then another one you have to see through this little hole there. It's going to be kind of hard to see right now. I know it's dark, but there's another one right there. So once you get those two out, you should be able to just remove the rail of the driver's seat so we can start working on that one as well. So with this one's completely out of the driver's seat now, we are good to drill out those two front brackets now, and then we can finally add this to the driver's seat and those brackets. So have the seat sitting right on top of the rails. This way I can verify the markings that I did, make sure everything is lining up properly once the rail is attached to the seat. Nothing is bolted on, it's just sitting on top of it, but on the position that they would be once they are bolted on. And I managed to get the front two holes lined up properly. They are nice and set, ready to be drilled. The back one here, I can kind of tell this one, it seems like it is on the right spot as well. I can't tell with the back one, right? I can't see anything underneath, on the side, from the top. So we're gonna have to do a little bit of guesstimating there and just double check our measurements, make sure it's nice apart, exact measurement that we need so that we can start drilling. So what I'm gonna do is take the seat off, drill the front two, measure again on the back ones here, drill the back ones. And then once we have that all nice and set, all we're gonna do is take the ones from the passenger side, put them here flipped upside down so they are basically the exact same, just mirror, right? And then we should be able to put the driver's seat exactly the right way it is. So the only thing to keep in mind, if you do have a truck that managed to have this rare OEM part, which is the gas door release, the one that you turn the lever and releases this little door. If you do have that, it looks like our hole might line up to where it is. So we're gonna have to take just a little closer attention to that part. We might have to work around a little bit. I think we might be able to clear it, but again, if you do happen to have that part on your truck, you might have to watch that if you are gonna be doing somewhat like this. Not necessarily this seats, but if you are gonna add some sort of seats in here, you might have to just watch out for that. So keep that in mind. Check it out, guys. I don't know if you can see that red dot there. That's my marking here for the back. See the other one? See that there? Right on the money. We made some great markings. It's right on it. So now that I know it can work that way, all I'm gonna do now is take this off and drill it. You saw me drill the front two in the car. Definitely wouldn't recommend it, just because as much as I'm trying to not push all the way through, when it finally does, it's hard to not hit the bottom in the carpet. So here we have finally both seat adapters with the holes already drilled in them. This is the passenger side, and we use this ones as the guideline or template for this one. This is the driver's side here. So they are good to go when it comes to where the bolts are gonna go. Now all we gotta do is go ahead and paint this one so they don't rust or anything like that. We're gonna go ahead and hit them with some black paint so it matches everything and blends in here with the carpet and the seats and all of that. And then while we're painting this ones as well, we're gonna go ahead and start adding the seat rails and everything back into the seats, just like how they came out, right? We're gonna put everything back in place so that when these ones are done drying and are ready to go into the truck, we can then set this ones in there and then put the seat on top and bolt it down. All right, guys, so we are gonna go ahead and install the brackets here into the seats. Initially, I thought maybe we should install the bracket into the truck first and then put the seat on top, but it's a hassle doing it that way, so don't do it that way. This seat is kind of like that, and honestly, it's gonna have to come off because the bolts, I don't have access to tying up the bolts the way they need to be tying up. So yeah, it's gonna come off. So we're gonna do it this way, put the bracket in the seat, tighten it, maybe leave it just a tiny loose on some areas in case we need to shift it, mainly on the front area, in case we need to shift it to the side or something like that. And then once it's in place, then we're gonna tighten up everything. You're gonna have trouble getting into the back corner here bolts. So once you get the front and side, kind of like the two front and the side one first, then you can just kind of move the seat forward and then you'll have access to the back one. So this way should be a lot easier than doing it that way, and it should save you some time. It's just gonna make the seat a little bit heavier for sure, because these brackets are heavy, seat's kind of heavy, and at least you shouldn't have the problem like I am, where I'm working just kind of one side, just because I don't want to move the car right now. So have both sides open. It'll make your life easier. But anyways, we are looking good here. Let's go ahead and finish this up and let's add this seat over there. All right, so we got the bracket all nice and tight here into the seat, and most likely you won't have to do this if you don't have the fuel door release lever on the driver's side. But what I'm gonna do right now is I'm gonna grind basically this little extra of the bolt that sticks out. I'm gonna cut that off just to try to make this as small as I can, because I really don't wanna cut into the actual bracket there for the fuel door release. So I'm gonna shave this off as much as I can. Obviously this is already tight in there, so we shouldn't have a problem there. So let's go ahead and do that real quick. And just to show you there, that has been shaved off right there real quick. Check it out, everyone. This seat is in. It definitely gave me a bit of a struggle in there just because of me not being able to open the driver's side door and get in there, but everything it's in there correctly now. Shaving that bit of the bowl helped out a lot. I didn't have to cut anything to the bracket, so the bracket's over there on the inside all intact and nice. So then we're just gonna go ahead and do the same thing here for the passenger side, and we are gonna be pretty much done with this mod. I'm sure I'm gonna have to take the seats out a little bit later because I might have to take the dash out, but we'll cross that bridge when we get there. Okay guys, so my audio messed up here, so I'm just going to do a little voiceover on here. But basically on the passenger seat there is a lot of wires, some modules and stuff like that that come from the FRS and the BRC. And I was just going to tell you guys, you can just remove a lot of that thing. That's what I did here. I removed all of the extra wiring. I took the module off here for the passenger sensor, which is, you can see that in my hand here. You can try to sell those for a few bucks. They actually go for a few online, but everything else, brackets and everything, I just bend them out of the way so that they don't hit as you're moving the seat up and down or forward and backwards on the truck, because they kind of hang a little bit low. So pushing them out of the way gets that kind of fixed. You can then put this little flap down, try to attach it back into a little bit of the bracket. You see the yellow wire here, I left it alone. That is for the airbags, I believe. So in case I ever sell the seats, somebody could potentially put them back into an FRS. But yeah, just wanted to show you that it's all out of the way. It's not going to hit anything. You might need to do that. You can also break them off if you want to, but just bending them out of the way is enough. All right, so we have both seats now inside of the truck, and there you go. Try to give you a look here as best as I can without moving the car. They look pretty good. I mean, they match the rest of the color scheme I have going on here. We have just a more subtle black and red instead of a bright red like I have with the NRG seats. So I like that a little bit better. It's not necessarily period correct, I understand that, but it definitely blends in here a little bit better than I did with the NRG seats. So I'm happy with that. They're gonna be a lot more comfortable as well to get in and out of the car and to just ride around in it once I get this truck up and going. So I'm excited for that. And the only thing I would say is whoever in the junkyard is marking these things on the outside where it's visible, and your mom is a beep, because they are such a pain in the butt to take off. Acetone and everything doesn't seem to take it off. The only thing I found out that kind of removes it is me scraping it off. And so I'm gonna have to do that. So if you guys have any tips on how to get rid of those markings from the junkyard, let me know. I'll definitely put them to use. But yeah, everything is looking good here. We are all set. I know the K24 swap has been pretty slow moving, and that's because I have to keep saving up money and buying parts. I have a stack of parts right here, guys. That is ECU, connectors, intake. I know you can't see it right there, but there's a couple other boxes underneath for the transmission adapter plate, flywheel, and everything. So again, it is just a long process of getting money, saving up, buying parts, so I can finally get started on getting this swapped over. So if you've been sticking around, thank you so much. I appreciate you watching. Hopefully you enjoyed this mini mod in between this Case24 swap. The next one that I'm gonna have on this truck, hopefully is gonna be an update on the actual swap going on. So stay tuned for that. But yeah, that's really all I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I appreciate you. If you enjoyed the video, hit the like button, hit the subscribe button, leave a comment. That helps me out, helps me save a little bit of money for this. If you want other ways to support the channel, go check out flakegarage.com. I got stickers, I got speaker covers for the dashboard here. If yours is messed up, you can pick one up there. But yeah, that also helps me out big time to continue saving some money here for the swap. So I really appreciate you if you do any of those things. But yeah, that's all I have for you today, guys. Thank you so much, and we'll see you guys on the next video. Bye.